Hi, I'm Kelly Newton with Cute Cakes, Cupcakes, and more. Thank you for joining me today. We'll be making a bunny cake and tie-dye Rice Krispies. Stay with me. For the bunny cake, you'll need 2 round cakes, coconut, red pull-apart licorice, 2 round hard candies or lifesavers, 3 gumdrops or dots. We're going to use the pastel Twizzlers today. For the tie-dye Rice Krispies, we'll use Rice Krispies. I have several colors of Peeps. I'm also going to use some plain marshmallows and butter. To begin the bunny cake, I will first frost this single layer cake, but I did butter and flour the bottom of my pan and also used parchment paper, so I'm just going to quickly remove that parchment paper. Next, I'm going to frost it with white frosting. I'm also going to get the sides. I'm just smoothing it out on the top. I have all the top and sides all frosted. I'm going to transfer my cake to the board, the display board. I'm going to place it on the lower section of the board, and that'll allow enough room for the ears, the bunny ears. But I do need to allow enough room for the ears and the bow tie. So I'm going to scoot it up just a tad to allow room. So not quite the center of the board, but kind of toward the bottom, but I'm going to allow enough room for the bow tie and the ears. I'll set that aside for right now. Here's the other half of my cake. And I'm going to remove the parchment paper again. I'm going to use my Cutco spatula here to mark the center of my cake. Then I'll take another dinner plate and I'm going to place it on the cake almost to up to the Cutco knife, and then I'm going to take a steak knife and cut around the edge of the plate. That will make a bunny ear. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side of the cake. Just taking my dinner plate up to the Cutco knife again, cutting it with my steak knife. And that will give me my ears and my bow tie. I am going to take my frosting and do the inside portion where I cut the cake apart and do a crumb coat. I'll bring you back when I have the crumb coat all on. All right, we have the crumb coat on, and I'm going to let that set up. All right, while that's setting up, I'm going to go ahead and prepare the coconut for the center of the ears. I am going to turn the coconut pink for the center of the ears. A lot of my family doesn't like coconut, so I'm only going to apply a little bit of coconut. I have a bag with about a teaspoon of water. I'm going to add some red food coloring. I'm going to try not to get too much. Going to place that in the bag with the water. Just diluting that food coloring just a bit. I have just a little bit of coconut left in this bag, so I'm just going to add the red food coloring directly into the bag of coconut. And hopefully it turns pink. Going to stir that around inside the bag. It'll be a surprise when we open it. Let's see what color we got. Oh, it is a pretty red pink. A little darker than I had hoped, but we're gonna go with it. I'm going to set that aside until we need it. While we're waiting for our crumb coat to set up, I am going to make some tie-dye Rice Krispies. To do that, we need 4 cups of Rice Krispies. We'll need about 20 peeps. I have a rainbow of colors here. I'm only going to use half of the peeps in each color and save the other half for another project. First, I am going to butter my dish. This does get nice and sticky, so I am going to butter the dish in advance. Just making sure I get those corners very well. There, that should be plenty of butter on the bottom. I'm going to get half of each color of peeps out. I'm also going to cut each one in half. Do pink next. I'm going to cut those in half as well. This just helps the color disperse better in the Rice Krispies. I'm going to do yellow next. Last, we'll do some lavender, my favorite color. did get a little carried away when pouring the Rice Krispies, so I have a little more than 4 cups. So I'm going to add just a few plain marshmallows as well. Just making sure those are evenly dispersed on the bottom of the pan. Next, I'm going to add my 4 cups of Rice Krispies right over the top. Just going to spread those out evenly. Next, I'm going to add 6 tablespoons of butter on the top. I am going to slice the butter up and place it right over the top of the Rice Krispies and Peeps. And my oven's ready. Almost in the nick of time. Now I have the butter all dispersed on the top. The Rice Krispies and the Peeps and the regular marshmallows are all mixed up. I'm going to place it in a 375-degree oven for about 8 minutes. All right, while we're waiting for the Rice Krispie Peeps to get done, I'm going to go ahead and place the ears and the bow tie on the rabbit cake. I'm going to place the ears to the top portion. If they're a little long, I may angle them out each way. We'll see how it goes. So I'm just going to slide the ear off right here at the top. It looks like it's going to work out perfectly. I'm going to do that for each ear. There we go. We'll finish letting that crumb coat set up. And we'll come back in just a bit with another layer of frosting, and we'll finish the decorations on the bunny cake. Stay with me. All right, the Peeps are now out of the oven, and I'm just going to take a knife while they're nice and puffy and golden, and I'm just going to stir them up just a little and kind of disperse that color throughout the Crispies. Rice Krispies. All right, I'm going to set those aside and let those cool after I do a taste test. Yummy. All right, I'm going to give the bunny cake a final frosting, starting down here with the bow tie. I did drop the bow tie, but it was able to salvage it. And a little frosting, you'll never even be able to tell. Getting the inside of that. Getting the inside of the bow tie with the frosting, smoothing it out. It's looking pretty good. Oops. Alright, that fixes his bow tie. I'm gonna slide the cake around and bring his ears down here to the bottom. Have the rabbit upside down. And I'm gonna do a final frosting on its ears. That side looks good. I'm gonna get the inside of this ear, or this other ear, and the insides and at the very last. Get the inside of this ear. See if I can do it left-handed. Nope, not gonna work. It just about finishes this ear. Just going to do a final smooth of the frosting. Beautiful. Get the outside of that ear and we'll be close to done with the frosting. That looks pretty good. Pretty good. Very nice. Few touch-up places, but it's looking very, very nice. Okay, I am using the rest of the frosting on the main part of the cake. As I stated before, a lot of my family, coconut's not their favorite. So I'm going to apply coconut sparingly. And only on the ears. So those that don't mind coconut can have some coconut. And those that don't care for it as much don't have to eat it. I'm going to take a fork and drag it through the icing. Make it kind of look like fur. I've made this cake many a times with the white coconut all over the bunny except for the bow tie. But again, some of my family just doesn't care for coconut that much. I'm just going to rough up the edges of these ears just a tad. Next, I'm going to give the bunny eyes, and I'm going to use green lifesavers for this. I'm going to place the green lifesavers approximately where the eyes would be. I'm going to fill that in with dots. I took dots and cut the bottom third off, and I'm just going to stick his eyes onto the lifesavers. Next, I'm going to give him a pink nose. I have the pastel M&Ms left over from earlier in the year. I'm just going to give him a nose about toward the center of the cake, maybe a little lower. Then I have the pull apart Twizzlers. I'm going to give him some whiskers. So I'm going to cut my pull apart licorice about a third of the way. Right. I'm going to give the rabbit some whiskers right near his nose. Just going to kind of stick it down into the frosting and then just let it fall. I'm going to do that on both sides. Next, I'm going to give the bunny rabbit a mouth. Just taking one of the thirds and I'm going to place it just below his nose and kind of in a J shape. I am going to pat that down into the frosting so it'll stick. Do that on both sides. There we go. I've done this rabbit with a variety of colors of hard candy. I've done M&Ms for the eyes. But this is what I have on hand now, and I think it'll be adorable. Next, I'm going to work on the bow tie. I am going to outline the bow tie in this rainbow yellow Twizzler. I did cut these in half. I thought they would hold on to the side of the bow tie just a little bit better cut in half. I'm just going to lay that along the edge of the frosting and kind of pat it in. Into the lower section. Now I'm going to do the upper section. I'm just giving it a curve right where I think the bow tie would curve. I'm going to do the ends. Just going to measure that out and snip it with my scissors. And pat that down into the frosting. I'm going to do the other edge and then I'll come back and fill in the sides. Then I'll come back and fill in this bottom and top section. Very nice. Now I'm going to put polka dots on the bow tie. Again, I've done a variety of colors. I've used regular M&Ms. I've used gumdrops. I've used dots. Whatever you want to make your bow tie with. Now there would be a knot in the middle of the bow tie where the bow tie is tied. So I'm going to put 4 yellow dots right there in the center. I only can squeeze in 3. Let's see if I can get another one in there. I'll try to wiggle that in. I'm going to stick that on with a little frosting right in the center. Next I'm going to take some lavender and green and a few yellows and just make it look like polka dots on the bow tie. All right, he's really starting to come together and look like a rabbit. Last, I'm going to spread a little tinted coconut in the center of the ears. Just give those ears a little depth. Earlier, I mixed some coconut with red food coloring, and I have that all ready here. I'm just going to sprinkle that right down the center of that ear. Get a toothpick and kind of clean it up in just a second. I'll do the same to the other ear. I'm just going to take a toothpick and kind of even this coconut out and shape it. I'll try to do it left-handed. We'll see how that goes. And there we have our bunny cake. There we have our rabbit cake and our tie-dye Rice Krispies, ready for Easter. Thank you for joining me tonight where we made a bunny cake and tie-dye Rice Krispies. On this Easter, let's please pray for peace around the world. Thank you for joining me. Until next time.